Hey guys, Josh again here with the Blue is the New White podcast. This week we've got an awesome guest. Her name is Elizabeth Moses, and she is a machinist in Canada. Elizabeth is a huge advocate for the trades, and especially women in the trades and kids understanding and realizing what the trades are. She has an incredible story about how she got into the industry, what intrigued her about the industry, and what she's doing now to support the industry and everybody in it. She's just a remarkable person, and I think you're really going to enjoy everything that she has to say. So pull up a seat, put those headphones on, and enjoy this week's episode with Elizabeth. And also, please just remember, we don't monetize this show at all, so your support means the world. Feel free to share the episode, rate the episode, review the episode, and tell people about us, because that's how we grow and that's how we get this message out. So thanks again and enjoy. Today we have Elizabeth Moses with us. I'm super excited to talk with Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for lending your valuable time to me and the show and our audience. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? What's your story?
Hi there, guys. Everyone out there. My name is Elizabeth, and I work at Windsor Mold as a machinist. And my story started about approximately 3 years ago when I entered into the trades. The trades to me weren't always my dream. And in high school, it wasn't something that I thought I wanted to pursue. But over time, I just learned that I really love working with my hands, and I do like machining a lot. And the reason why I really started joining the trade was when I was in high school, I took a woodworking class. I was put into a woodworking class in high school and at Assumption High School by a counselor, a guidance counselor. For me, I didn't really want to be part of the class. I'll tell you, I tried to change the class. I tried to drop the class. I was not happy with that decision by the school itself, and I thought it was a mistake because there was 20 guys in the class at the time, and I was one of the only few women in that class, like 2 girls, 20 dudes. And I was like, there has to be a problem here. Like, I didn't ask for this class, and for me, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. But the school said they couldn't change a class, so I automatically had to stay and just try my best. My parents always pushed me to thrive in school and do the best that I can academically. So I stayed, and I was like, you know what? I got to do this class anyway, so I'm just going to give it a chance and just like try the best that I can and just get through this. So I stood in the class and ended up actually really liking it. I love working with the tools and stuff like that. We built different projects. I built a bookshelf to a clock out of wood. So I really was like, I was amazed after that class and everything like that. And I loved it. And I was like, this is awesome. Like this stuff is amazing. I was amazed by the things that we created and all that stuff. And we did bird shelves as well, like bird houses and things like that. So it was pretty awesome. And then after that class was finished in the year, the teacher of that class invited me to join the robotics team. At first, I thought, I was like, why would you want me to join First Robotics? I have no idea how to build a robot. I don't really have any skills. And like, for me, I didn't think that would be an opportunity. I'm like, I'm not smart enough. It's not something that I can do. I don't know what I can give to the team. I don't know what I can offer you. But I really thought about it. I went home and I thought about that opportunity, and I decided to join the next day. And that team, for me, it was an incredible experience. So what First is that we have about approximately 6 weeks to build a robot, a functioning robot, take it to a competition and compete with other teams across Ontario as well. And then there is the world's competition. So if you win a competition in your city or wherever you are, you're able to go to the worlds. And teams across the entire world are there, and you compete against them. And it's such an crazy experience. You meet so many people, you make so many friends along the way, and it's just incredible to see your work in action. And I just really love that. So when it came to the end of grade 12, and I had to decide what I wanted to go into, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to pursue, but I saw an opportunity at Claire for the pre-apprenticeship program. So I decided to apply, and this pre-apprenticeship program was incredible. Like, for me, it was an opportunity for me to start a career, like in the trade, to see where my path may be and like where it may take me. And it was just something for me I wanted to just pursue. But a lot of people were very discouraging too as well. They're like, why would you want to be a tradesperson? I don't know why. Is that something that you want to do? You're a woman, for one. Like, look at yourself. You think you're going to make it through. And I had a lot of people tell me to fail. I'm going to fail along the way. But my parents, they're amazing. They've always supported me and my journey. And they said, you know what, go for it. You have our support along the way and you can get through this too. So I went through the program. It was 4 months of the college. After that 4-month program of college, I had to do about 3 months of work, and I got my first year of my level 1 in machining. And after that, I started working at Windsor Mold, and that's where I am today. I've been there for 3 years. It's been a crazy experience. It's been amazing. I'm so happy that I took that chance and I went for the opportunity in trades, and here I am today. So.
Wow, that's an incredible story, and I think it's going to resonate a lot with people out there, because a lot of people have that same kind of perception. Especially I'd say women in the trades. They don't really feel, a lot of them, and I can't speak for everybody, of course, but it would seem that the trades being more male dominated, that they don't really think that there's a place in there for them. Some of them, anyway. That's what it would seem to me. So I'm curious. You said you didn't want to take the woodworking course, which is essentially an introduction into what would be considered a skilled trade. What was your perception of the skilled trades before you kind of took that step and started to enjoy woodworking?
Well, my perception about skilled trades were like, this is dirty work. This stuff is for guys, because you always hear about tradespeople and you're like, it's a guy. And like, it's for people that have like it's the last thing you're supposed to do in your life. Like, even in elementary school, before I went to high school, I heard that tradespeople weren't like very intelligent. And this is like people that dropped out of school, or they weren't really able to go to college or university, pursue a different path in life. So they just chose the trades. Like, they just chose that path because it was easier for them.
Yeah.
So that was my perception. And I think a lot of people see it that way too, because they're just ignorant. They don't really know what the trades are. And we can only hear other people and their experiences, or just hear from others. Oh, this is the trade. This is how it is. And that's how it's always going to be. But it's amazing how things are changing slowly, and it's being introduced to students and in high school. So I'm happy to see things are changing, and the perspective as well. So that's something too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think you hit the nail on the head there with the perception. I think a lot of people really have that same thought process. When I was in high school, admittedly, it's not like a lot of people talked down on the trades too much, although that perception did exist, because it's kind of what's portrayed everywhere, right? When you watch movies or TV shows or whatever, you can clearly see who the tradesperson is and who's not in the trades, right? And they do a good job of depicting that by, the grease on their face or the pants halfway down their butt crack, and, it's the same story everywhere. But when I was growing up, it was almost invisible, no one ever really talked about it. It wasn't necessarily offered as an option, and my high school didn't even have a shop class. I had a shop class when I was in middle school, but by the time I got to high school, it was gone. They got rid of the shop class. So, that's interesting to hear you say. So, how did your perception start to shift then? Once you found how much you were enjoying working with your hands, was it like a light went off in your head and was like, oh, I can do this?
Yeah, for me, my perception just ended changing over time. Just being in the class with everybody and working with the teacher and just seeing the different things that we were doing. And for me, I was like, wow, this stuff is not that bad. I'm going to tell you, I was a little terrified at first. I'm going to tell you, looking at the machines, and I was like, this stuff is dangerous. I don't know why we're doing this in high school. But over time, I just got comfortable with everything. Oh, this is actually not that bad. It's okay. I like this. It's not what I thought it would have been. So just over time, drastically, just my perspective changed.
Yeah. And then once you started working with those big machines, you kind of felt like a badass, right? Don't lie.
I did. I was like, oh, look at me. And then my friends were like, whoa, that's cool. Of the projects we used to make. So
yeah. And I think that's the cool part. It's one of the cool parts is, you come to find that not everybody actually knows how to operate machines like that. I mean, even as small as something like a power drill, or dare I say, a screwdriver, you know what I mean? We're finding less and less people that know how to do this. You know, it was a couple, I shouldn't say a couple years ago. The time tends to blur these days, but it was probably about 9 years ago or so. I was living in my first house, and the neighbor kid came by, and he was walking his bike over. Right, the chain fell off. He had no idea how to fix it. The kid was like 7, 8 years old, you know. And I said, you know, bring it over here and pop the chain back on. It was no big deal, and I mean, the kid was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. Like I just gave him a brand new bicycle, right? And it's amazing to me because the more and more people I talk to who maybe are my age or younger don't even know how to put a bicycle chain back on. You know, it's not something that they were ever taught, when it's really, you know, it's a simple task, you know, and it's not at all intimidating if you've ever seen a chain before, or anything, you know, mechanical for that matter. But, you know, one of the things that I'm noticing is that simple tasks like this that really, you know, can provide so much joy to somebody else. And that's a small scale, right? Because, you know, when you really look at it from a bird's eye view, the trades are here to serve, you know, everything from what I do to what you do. You know, we're what I like to say is manufacturing the world as we see it today. And it seems like it's almost like a lost art. I'm glad to see it coming back on the scene, and obviously I'm doing everything I can to help that and propel that, and it needs to. But it is a little concerning, I think, that so many people have this aversion to it. So anyway, I kind of went off on a little tangent there. I'm sorry, but
It's okay. It's all good.
So,
and I think,
yeah, go ahead.
And I can add to that too as well. I think it's just that people, like, we don't have a lot of individuals in our lives that are tradespeople to really like help us to see what the different trades are, and just be able to show us a little few things here and there, tricks in our lives. Like for me, I'd never had anyone in my family. I'm the first child of my parents to go into trades and to go to trade school. And like I had one uncle that was like a mechanic. That's it. Besides that, I didn't see anybody or have had that experience to even like encounter someone that worked in the trade, or even to just do simple tasks. So I think it's just because there's not enough people that they have in their lives to do those type of, like, to have a certain skills to help build things and show them how things come together. That's probably plays a big role.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And, you know, I'm thinking back to your story that you just told about how, you know, you thought that being in woodworking was a mistake. And it goes back to something I like to say, is that, you know, often the people in the trades arrive on accident but stay on purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely true. Like, even when I came into the trade, you know, I didn't know what my dad did for a living. I said, hey, I want to come work with you and build your business. By the way, what is it that you do again? You know, and so it was almost, you know, not intentional, but staying was, because, you know, it's so enjoyable to so many. So I'm curious about this robotics course, or robotics. Was it a club or a class or a?
Oh, it was they had it was a club. It's a club, and it's also a program too as well, like through First. And you go through it for a few years, and you complete that program. They give you a certificate. Here you go. You complete that. It's just offered to students in high school. They have one for students in elementary as well. They have First Lego League, so you can actually make Lego robots, and then they can compete too as well.
That sounds like something I'd be interested in. That sounds like fun. So you think courses and you know, clubs like that and programs like that are helping people and kids in particular kind of get a little bit better understanding of working with their hands and you know, what the skilled trades could all entail?
Absolutely. Like, a thing about First Robotics, it really does teaches you a lot of math and gives you those skills too as well. Working with your hands, so learning how to use tools, building things, problem solving. It's really important, specifically in the trades. You have to be able to build things, fix problems when you come across them too. And First has a lot of those things that we come to, like when building a robot, you have to see if on the field, if a robot breaks, it comes back to us. We have to fix it on the spot for the next competition. There's constant competition going on all day long in the arena, every day on the playing field. So we're constantly working on solving problems. We have learned how to build robots. We learned about how to wire. There's so many different teams too. Like there's programmers, there is designers. We have so many different parts of a team, and it gives you different skills to be able to see different industries too as well.
Wow.
So it has so much variety.
That's wild. Yeah, I wish my school had something like that, man. I would have joined in a second. I was always that kid that loved Legos and erector sets and, old school stuff like that. Building something, designing something, and then making it do something was like, I loved that kind of stuff. My parents used to get really pissed at me because every time they gave me a birthday present or a Christmas present, I would take it apart. I wouldn't play with it. I'd take it apart. and I just wanted to know how it worked. I got like remote control robots one year, and I was like, those are awesome. I need to take them apart. So, anyway, I think that sounds like a really cool program. So in the article that I read about you and that ultimately led me to reach out to you, there was something mentioned in there called Build a Dream. So I'm curious about Build a Dream, what it is, and how you're involved.
Well, with Build a Dream, it was an organization founded in 2012 here in Windsor, Ontario. And the program was created to introduce different fields that are male-dominated to young women in high school. So we'll have emergency response, we have skilled trades, STEM, and as well like just advancing women. Like those are a few categories that we have. So we'll have a panel of women in those different fields that are role models, and they'll speak about their experiences at events to young girls and their parents, so then they can consider those fields. And when they go home, they're like, oh man, this was incredible. And they can see like how successful they can be too as well. So it's just to introduce women to those fields so that they can pursue them later on in life. And it's just to encourage them too. Like women need to have support. That's something that women really need in their lives when it comes to anything, like specifically trades. And the reason why I got involved with Build a Dream is because I saw that too as well. And I was like, wow, I want to encourage women. I wasn't encouraged when I was entering into the skilled trades. And I want to encourage the youth to just enter those fields and just test them out and just see what it's all about. That's why I started. That's why I work with them too as well. And now I'm an ambassador for the organization. Like last year, I just became an ambassador. So I'm working with them. I'm doing a lot with them when it comes to advertising the trades and just trying to get more students. And hopefully girls will see me and they're like, wow, there's a woman out there that's actually doing that job. I want to do it too as well. That's incredible. And that's what I really want to push for. I'm trying to get more women to join, and then they can support women entering the trade later on too as well. Like we want this to continue. We need more tradespeople, and trades are in high demand, but we have a skills gap where we don't have enough people to actually support that demand too as well. So hopefully this will encourage more women to join, and then therefore we have more tradespeople in the future, and then trades become a viable option for students in high school. So they can decide, hey, I want to be a tradesperson. I saw this event. I went to this event and it was amazing. Now I want to be a person in the future. So that's what it's really all about.
That's awesome. And we need more things like that. And, I think that is going to be very beneficial. You mentioned the skilled trades gap, which is why, I started this whole thing to begin with. And, it's amazing. It's a growing industry and a dying profession, and especially when you talk about the lack of women in the trades, because when we talk about a skilled trades gap, I mean, that's basically 50% of the world's population that isn't even really looking into the trades because they don't think that there's a place for them in there, and that's a huge problem, right? Because, if even as many women as men were interested in the trades, and that's even in low nowadays with the coming generations, we probably, wouldn't have a skilled trades gap. I mean, there's that many, viable candidates out there. And so I think that what you're doing with Build a Dream is just not only necessary, but really, really remarkable. So congratulations on becoming an ambassador for them. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So then what do you see are the biggest obstacles for women entering the trades?
Well, for me, I think the biggest obstacles would be for them entering to the trade. Right now, it would be employment. Like, for instance, if women do enter the trade and they go through a program, finding an employer that's willing to hire women on, that is a big, right now, that's a big concern too as well. Because we may have the skills, but unless if someone's willing to hire us and give us a chance, then we won't be really to be able to become apprentices and complete our apprenticeships and actually become apprentices and actually work in the workplace. We just need employers that are willing to hire more women. And I keep hearing sometimes about employers like, yeah, well, we can't really hire women because the guys that work here, they don't really want women in this area. This is a boys' club. Sometimes you'll hear that in shops and stuff like that. And it's really good but I have a great company like Windsor Mold. It's a phenomenal company. I heard that they are hiring women. Like when I was trying to apply to it back a few years ago, I heard that and I was like, that's awesome. And I asked around, like, what is the best place? What's the best employer I could find that was willing to hire a woman on and give them a chance? So it's just, in a sense, finding someone that wants to hire women, that's willing to support them along their journey. And that's something that's really important to help women along the way.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. Do you think that that's the main reason why employers may not want to hire women, because they kind of view it as a boys' club? Is that like the thing that stands out the most to you?
The thing is, no, there's also in the sense like issues within, like, if they do hire women, they may get harassed. There's other issues that like lie within the trade too. And for them, they just want to avoid those problems. They don't want to go through that, and they don't want to have a lawsuit or so among their hands. So they just won't hire women because of that.
I see. So it's not so much the hiring of the women, it's the result of hiring the women that they're scared of.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. And that really sucks, for lack of a better term, And I think that that's a huge barrier that people need to get over. And I think you're right. I probably know some people in the industry that, have that mindset. I mean, and let's be honest, with the skilled trades, a lot of the owners of skilled trades companies and things like that now come from an old school mindset, back when there were literally zero women in the industry, and whether they've changed their views or not, I think that mindset probably trickles down into the organization at some point and almost reinforces, that narrative, right? Is that, it's a boys' club and we don't want any problems, that kind of thing. And little do they know that kind of is the problem. That's, everybody is so quick to complain that they can't find good help, but they're literally disregarding 50% of it. So that's interesting. So you work with another program called Women in the Trades, right? Women in Trades.
Yeah, Women in Trades. So I work with them. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just going to ask you to explain it.
Well, the program itself, it is a pre-apprenticeship. So it's for women that have no experience whatsoever working with their hands or any technical trade background. And they give them the program is free. So the program itself is free. It's supposed to help fill in that skills gap as well and give women employment, like great paying jobs in the trades. And there's women out there that need jobs they need to support their kids. They're struggling to pay their bills. There's a lot of women living in poverty too as well. And then this program is offered to young women in high school. So the program itself consists of 4 months of in-school training and everything. The program pays for the tuition is free. They give them tools, PPE as well. Everything from their textbooks are covered. If they need transportation, they don't have that, they'll cover that too. They'll give them a bus pass as well as childcare. So if the women in the program are like, well, I can't really do this program, I have kids. Well, they're like, hey, don't worry. We'll give you free childcare. So then you can go to school and then you can actually pursue the trade. It's trying to get more women in the trades. Like anything that women stand in their way of entering to the trade, an obstacle for them, they're trying to help them along the way. And I think it's an
Wow.
incredible program. I was volunteering with them for about now. I volunteered with them for 4 months, and I made a lot of great friends, and those women now have jobs. So I'm happy to see the result of this program too, and it's incredible.
That's really great. Now, the women that go through this program, what's the job placement like? Are you still running into challenges actually finding them employment because of the issue we just talked about, or are you starting to make some headway in kind of breaking through that mindset of employers?
Well, here in Windsor, we have a great community. There's a lot of employers that are willing to hire women on as apprentices. So we have it's not really an issue here as would be in other parts. So the program itself has been around for a while too. So we have a lot of the support, and there is a lot of employers that are willing to hire.
Okay.
So that's not a very large issue that we find too as well. Like there's a lot of opportunities too. And like for those women in the program, there's so many different opportunities. You can be a machinist, you can go into something else. It is a millwright program, but you can become anything else too as well. Like I want to mention that like they start on millwrights, but they can be a machinist, they can be a tool and die maker, mold maker. There's so many different options they can apply for. It's just to get their foot in the door.
Awesome. So this is a pretty localized program then. Do you have any, are there any plans to kind of expand it out into something a little bit bigger to serve more areas, or?
Oh, every area usually has one of their own programs
Okay.
because there is I've noticed that different colleges have their own programs in different parts of Ontario. And then there's different provinces, they have their own programs. They have usually running like women's and trade programs. I'm starting to see more of that too, which is awesome because that means, people are like really realizing that women can actually work in the skilled trades. And they're starting to see an increase of that too. And women that are interested in these careers, because they notice like, wow, this jobs are like really well-paying jobs. Like they have great benefits. There's so many things that these jobs offer. So there is an increase of that too. So we have one in Windsor, but it's everywhere.
Oh, very cool. And I think it's worth noting too that I know some women that could work circles around some of the guys I know in the trades. So I just want to throw that out there. But I think that's really cool. So getting back to you personally, I'm curious, what is it that you enjoy most about what you do? Both, let's say this, both personally and professionally. So, is it inspiring to you that that you're kind of like a trailblazer, and you're taking matters into your own hands and, saying, hey, I know what a lot of you think, screw you. Or is it, what else do you like most about the trades and what you do?
Well, the thing is, what I like about my job in the trades is that it's satisfying to know that I could take a design and create that design and make an actual part. And every part that I make comes into a mold, which is a large machine, and they make all these plastic components. We're talking about car parts usually. That's what we serve as an industry. So we have talking about dashboards and we're talking about lighting. It's incredible. That's what I really love about my job. I can see what I'm doing. I can go home at the end of the day. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about my job. Like it doesn't follow me when I get to my house. I can just forget about it when I go home, just chill. That's something else I love about the trades.
Nice. That's a really good point. And I think that's probably a point that can resonate with a lot of people, because although there are some trades, and depending on what avenue you take and go down and what you choose to do with your trade, there are a lot of trades that you can do just that. You at the end of the day, it's not physically possible for you to bring your work home with you, so to speak, And so I think that's great, and that resonates with a lot of people, because a lot of people have that divide. They want, their work to be their work, their personal time to be their personal time, which there's nothing wrong with that. I happen to not know the difference, and that's by fault of my own. But I think that's a huge draw to the industry as well that many people may not know, right? Because there's some trades out there that you do have to, work your ass off, right? I mean, even in my industry, it's not uncommon for people to work, 60 hours a week, if the work is there, and the work is usually there, but in the same breath, there are a lot of skilled trades industries out there that, there's so many different options. You can do exactly what you say. You can go to work, you can enjoy your job, do what you do, and then go home, not have to worry about it until the next day you go back. So, that's an awesome life. And then for those that are workaholics, complete workaholics that enjoy working 60, 80 hours a week, there's trades that'll allow that. And then there's even trades that'll allow you to work, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 3 weeks off, 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off, whatever. Because it's all about the work being done, and there's just so many different options, and so there's no limit to whatever your personality is and whatever you enjoy. You can always find something to suit your lifestyle across all the different industries, right?
Yes, absolutely. And like another thing about my job is that you can always, in a sense, grow. Like you're not going to stay in the same place too as well. You're always growing. You can always become a manager. You could always work as a shop foreman. There's so many opportunities. I've had the opportunity to work in programming. I've worked in so many different parts. I've worked in several departments because this job requires you to constantly change and like experience everything you can about an apprenticeship. It's just going through I've gone through so many things. It's incredible. Like I've learned so much from so many different people, and it makes me happy because like I have the support of my like coworkers and like men supporting me along the way, and they're just incredible guys. Like I like the guys so much there. They're amazing, honestly, and I'm so grateful to like have them in my life and like have them through my apprenticeship because they just helped me so much along the way. Like whenever I need have a question or anything, or I'm struggling in something, they'll be willing to take the time to help me along the way. Like, hey, this is how this is done. And just having those mentors in life and having them in your career, it's really helpful. And I'm very lucky and very fortunate too that I have supportive men in my industry, because I know sometimes some people may not feel that way. And for me, that's another thing too. I just love the people that I work with. It's an amazing company, and the guys there are incredible.
Yeah. Back to the people in the trades, some of them are just absolutely, like you said, incredible. That being said, I'm curious, have you ever faced any adversity or pushback from, your guy counterparts through your journey, in either in your apprenticeships or schooling or anything like that, kind of questioned you and said, why are you doing this? You're a woman?
In the beginning, yes, because I was 18. I just gone on the shop floor, and these guys were like, they didn't expect me to be there. Okay, so the first thing they're gonna ask, like, why am I doing this? Is somebody like making me do this? This is actually an option like that I wanted to pursue. And for me, I just kept ensuring that I came back every day. I was like, they're like, you're still here. It's the end of the week. You're still here. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be here for a while. So just expect that. And I'm here to do the job. So yes, I had some people question me why I'm there, and thinking in every workplace, there's going to be certain people you're going to meet in your life that they're just not content with their jobs, and they're just going to try to just trying to upset you. There are going to be some individuals, but I've always worked through problems with people. I've always approached people. I'm very approachable too as well, and I don't have a lot of problems. I'm very fortunate in my trade to not have a lot of issues with different people. And if there ever is an issue, I usually will approach the person, have a conversation with them, see what the issue is. And I'm really good at like de-escalating situations too. Like that's another thing too as well. Somebody may come at me yelling, like why, like they're upset. And I just want to, let's talk about this. Like, why is that? And, allow that person to really explain themselves and see their point of view. I'm very observant too. I like to see I observe the guys and I see how they interact with each other. And I like to observe those individuals and just find out more about them. So I spend a lot of time too, just observing situations. If there's a big issue, like I have to really solve, I'll go and I'll think about it. I'll ask my friend. I have another woman in my trade too, as well, who works in my shop. I'm very fortunate to have, it's not just me. I'm not completely alone, because I don't know if I really could have gone through that by myself, through all the problems that I did face. Like sometimes it does feel that it may be because I'm a woman, but I'm not really sure what the issue, what the exact reason is for certain things I do go through, because I am young too as well. So the guys there are much older than me too. So it comes within me being very young, me being a woman too as well. What is the issue? Is it because I'm young, or is because I'm a woman. So I'm really, those are the two things I think about when I have a problem. And then I look around, I'm like, yeah, like I'm trying to figure out what those things are. And I'm just taking every day as it is, every problem as it is, taking it on and just trying to figure it out. I'm very patient too, as well. Like you have to have a lot of patience when it comes to the trades, and just being a woman in the trade too as well. You have to be very patient and just work things out with people and just try your best. And I'm very fortunate. My environment is not toxic, extremely toxic. So I'm able to work through those problems if there is something with somebody. So that's another thing too.
Good. The trades needs more people like you, I think. And so I love that you're doing all of this, and you're clearly, a huge advocate for kids in the trades, women in the trades. And, I think it's going to take voices like yours to really spread that message and get people comfortable, with the new era and let people know that this is coming. And this is the way that it's going to be. And you know what? We're going to be better for it. We just have to, kind of pound that into the minds of some of these people who might not think so. So I'm curious, why is it so important to you to support people in pursuing the trades?
For me, like I said, in a sense, why is it so important for me? It's because like I said before, I didn't have a lot of support. I had the support of my one teacher in high school. My parents supported me, but besides that, my friends weren't like supportive of this decision of me becoming a tradesperson. Teachers in my school weren't supportive of that either. And I met so many people along the way that would always question me, like, why are you in the trades? Why would you decide that? Why would you pursue something that isn't for women? So for me, I didn't have that support. So I wanted to just give that back to women in the community and other students too. I just wanted them to know that, hey, I'm here for you. I've went through this experience. I know it's very challenging, and I'm here as well along the way to help you get through. And I want you to know that I believe in you, and you should believe in yourself too, and you are capable of doing this job. So that's why I like to support others. It's very important to me because I was at a point in my career where if I didn't have that support of that one teacher and my parents as well, I wouldn't have gone through this. I wouldn't have been able to get through all this. The support is what keeps me going every day. I think of my life too as well, just being on just when I'm having a hard time and I'm going through some things, my job, we all come into a point in our careers where we're struggling sometimes. We question ourselves, but then I think back about why I'm doing this again. Like I'm doing this to support myself, to, show support for other individuals and to constantly be a mentor to them. So it's to me, they keep me going too as well. Like I have friends in the trades, all these women that I've met along the way, they keep me going. So when I come to a point in my life and I'm struggling, I'm like, hey, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are supporting me. I'm going to get through this and I'm going to give them the support back too. And they're going to see that, yes, I did went through all those challenges, but here I am. I'm a tradesperson. I have my certification. I've done everything, and they can too as well. So that's why I can't, that's why I'm at a point too as well. Like I can't quit too as well, because I'm at a point where I've put so much time, I've invested so many hours, just giving out hours of my life to, my life is surrounded by the trades. It is all that I do, really. Like I spent weekdays in my shop. I'll volunteer on the weekdays and the weekends to tutor students at the college. I will travel on my vacation days to different events and just speak to students. So my life revolves around all this, and that's all I do really. And it's one of my passions in life, just helping people find themselves and find their own success too. That's wonderful.
That really is. So are you, when you're bringing on these young women and kids and stuff into these apprenticeship programs and helping them and supporting them, are you kind of reinforcing in them the same thing that you have? Like, hey, I'm supporting you now. Now it's going to be your turn to support somebody else, so we can, kind of build this network of support and ultimately change the way that it's handled now.
Yeah, I always encourage these young girls that they're going to be the next role models for these young women that are entering as well, and just keep passing on that message. And they're going to keep going on. And that's one of my goals too as well, like, as to be a mentor, is to pass on that message. And then for the people that I've mentored to do the same in return, because I've had people that mentored me along the way. And that's just one thing that you do. When someone mentors you and takes the time of their day to help you, to become successful, you have to do the same. Give that back to someone else, and then hopefully that person too will pass on the message. And that's what it's just a constant cycle. And I hope so too as well to continue, because if it does, then we'll have so many different individuals in the trades and more women, and we'll have more students joining, and it's going to be a better workplace and a better future for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really remarkable what you're doing and how much time you actually spend on this. You know, like I said, I really think we need more people in the industry, you know, like you, and with the mindset that you have, you know, male or female, as long as they have your mindset, I'm good with it, you know, because that's ultimately what's going to change the rest of the industry and close this gap that we're seeing and really enable just the success for these kids that they may not know exists, you know, and that's my biggest thing, is that, you know, everybody defines success differently. And so you can't measure it in one single way. And that's where the skilled trades come in, because there are just so many different ways and opportunities that you can achieve the type of success that you're looking for. So that being said, it brings me to the question that I absolutely love to ask. What is your definition of success, Elizabeth, and how are the skilled trades helping you achieve it?
Well, in a sense, like my definition of success would be loving my job, being paid for my job, having the skills to be able to mentor someone else. So I hope one day I can have my own apprentice and I'm able to teach them different things as well, and just show them little tricks in here, like in the trade. And I think that would be my level of success that I would find. Like, I don't really know where this path will lead, but so far, in the sense, that's what I think success would be. Just loving your life, loving your career, giving back to people, and just supporting others as well. I think that's truly success.
Awesome. I think that's a great definition of success. And I think that's going to drive you for a very, very long time, and for all the right reasons. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think that's a good place to end it. So before we go, why don't you let people know how they can get in touch with you if they want to be involved in any way? How can they reach out?
Well, they can reach me on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram, machinery_trade. And then you can also reach out to Build a Dream, and as well as West of Windsor. And those are two different organizations that are in my community that support the trades. There is also, you can find more information about the skilled trades programs at St. Clair College. And yeah, there's so many. Yeah, those are the things I would look into.
Awesome. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great pleasure.
Likewise. Until next time.